We're back with the bigger picture.
It's been 4 years since Hurricane Katrina ripped through the Gulf Coast and the lives of many people in New Orleans. At the time, Canadians were the first to line up to offer help. But now that generosity has turned to disappointment. Our Mark McAllister tonight with that story.
It's a small, sleepy community in the heart of southern Louisiana. A safe haven for those forced to uproot their lives 4 years ago in the wake of Hurricane Katrina.
Moving from place to place and not knowing where they were going to put us at. From there, that was the hardest part.
Dawn Davis is one of a few who now call Canadaville home after spending much of her life in New Orleans. It's a quiet country setting officially named Magnaville, created by auto parts giant Frank Stronach for an estimated $10 million.
Many people have gotten back on their feet.
A gathering place for those who desperately hung on and survived nature's fury during one of the worst disasters in U.S. history. 370 sprawling hectares almost immediately converted into living space and farmland intended to temporarily help those in need. Canadian Shane Carmichael oversees the project.
We realize it's going to be a longer-term kind of project where we need not only to help the people of New Orleans, but particularly people who have been living in poverty for a while.
People like Shirley Patterson and Glenda Warren.
You don't know if Bobby gonna leave today?
The friends and neighbors were left with nothing after Katrina hit and blew the roof off their apartment.
We had rain, walls caving in, water coming up to our knees.
Located nearly 3 hours north of New Orleans, Canadaville would offer them shelter and a new start, but not without something in return.
So they need to be saving some money so that we can get them on track.
Those taking up residence in one of the 49 three-bedroom homes built on the property could stay rent-free for 5 years. Those 5 years are now almost up.
All we had to do was community service to give back, since somebody gave to us, living here because we didn't have to pay any rent.
What are these folks taking away from this experience?
Many things. I believe that their experience here have given them hope. Coming off Katrina, that they can leave here and be productive citizens.
While Canadaville has provided its residents opportunities they may not have otherwise had, issues have plagued the project as well. It seems evacuees had a hard time adjusting to life in rural Louisiana, to the point that their big city problems made the trip here as well. Those problems included criminal behavior and drug abuse. For those reasons, the nearby town of Simsport didn't exactly welcome their new neighbors with open arms.
We didn't know how to take it. We said, now what are we gonna do? All we was blessed with a house.
While Canadaville had its problems, recovery in New Orleans itself has been slow. The infamous Lower Ninth Ward remains largely untouched and abandoned. The levee walls may be repaired, but property once underwater is overgrown, and ruins still stand where homes simply floated away.
Damon, what are we getting done today?
Star handyman Mike Holmes spent weeks here during the summer of 2008, working with Brad Pitt's Make It Right Foundation on new construction.
To see and witness that the government really didn't give a two bits about them, I was not impressed whatsoever. If it was Canada, it would be fixed like that.
I love it. I thank God.
Gloria Guy is the lucky recipient of a custom-built green home, now overrun with a family including 8 grandkids.
See where you can escape in case something happens. He made it comfortable for me and my family. And the rooms are large.
It's one of 150 new homes expected to be built in the area by the end of 2010, but well short of what many believe is needed. Make It Right's John Sater says it's tough.
Finding the people, being able to bring them home, being able to achieve and help them achieve the clear title and the financing to be able to achieve the homes, it's covered with challenges.
In Canadaville, the challenge is what to do with the more than 60 people still living in homes there. They've been told it's time to move on, with the original 5-year deadline to relocate looming. Dennis Mills is a vice president at Magna.
Why such a hard deadline for these residents, I think is?
No, it wasn't a hard deadline. In fact, 5 years is a pretty solid commitment. There's no other corporation in North America that made a commitment of 5 years.
Magna stopped accepting new Canadaville residents last year in an effort to eventually bring the project to an end. Management claims 80% have already left. Those that remain don't want to return to the crime-ridden and drug-infested neighborhoods they left behind.
Since we've been here, we think we're going to make this our home also. I don't think I'm going back to New Orleans.
Dawn, on the other hand, is slowly realizing it will soon be time to uproot the family, coming to terms with having to find yet another lease on life at a time when they'd rather stay on solid ground.
My plan is to probably, move back to New Orleans and get my kids settled. But I really, really wish that I could just keep this house. I like it.
Frank Stronach and Magna haven't decided what to do with Canadaville yet. One of the suggestions is to offer it to the Red Cross in the event of another disaster. A final decision is expected in the next few months.
Next week on 16 by 9.
Hi, how you doing? Putting myself back to work as a sex worker. I have to do this in order to prove that the laws are dangerous and this is not the proper way to operate.
As the current law stands, it's legal to buy and sell sexual services, but Parliament refuses to identify where that activity should occur.
It opens the door to sexual tourism, and I believe Canada would be a target for that.
And that's it for us tonight. If you have a story idea, just call us at 1-877-TEL-16-9 or email us at global16by9.com. And remember, you can send us a message through Facebook or Twitter. Thanks for watching. I'm Mary Garafello, and from all of us here, good night.
If you've got a story idea for 16 by 9, call our tip line.
So yeah, it seems that we got a lot of response from people not only on the website but on email and voicemail as well. Whitney Jill Reed had quite a bit to say about the shark finning story, in fact, and some really nice words about the show as well.
I'd really like to thank you guys for giving attention to the shark finning industry. I believe the sale of shark fins should be illegal in Canada. Thank you for showing people just how horrific this industry really is.
16 by 9, the bigger picture. That's a wrap.